Hello crafty people, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I have a super cute punny Valentine's kind of a card, and it's using some supplies from Simon Says Stamp, and I just think it's adorable. I love the sentiment for this one. So here I have the fries die from Simon Says Stamp. It has two little fry kind of cut apart pieces and the container. And this is brand new, so if you ever wondered how to separate these, you can just go ahead and wiggle them back and forth to snap them, or you can grab a small pair of pliers. These are just kind of jewelry pliers that I picked up really inexpensively at a local craft store, and you can go ahead and snip away those pieces of metal. It does work best to do this kind of over a strong magnet or over a baby wipe to kind of catch those pieces because they will ping off and disappear and you'll find them in your finger at some point. So here I have some Heffy memo tape and I'm using it to tape my dies down to some Simon Says Stamp cardstock. I believe this is Lipstick Red and Sunshine, but I'll make sure to have the colours linked in the description below along with all of the supplies that I'm using. So if you watch my videos, you may notice that these are brand new cutting plates for my big shot. I've gone ahead and replaced the plates because my old ones were getting kind of beat up, and yeah, it was about time I got some new ones. So I replaced it with these lovely kind of tealy coloured ones. They're really nice. And I'll just show you here that when you die cut everything, so I ran the fries through twice and the container once, and it will cut into your plates, so you will get that scratching. It doesn't mean that you've broken your machine, it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong, it's just a fact of die cutting. You will get those cut marks in your plates, but it's fine, they'll keep working, and you can always go ahead and get replacements once they get too beat up. So here I'm adding some shading. I've sped this part up. I'm using some distressing and a picket fence blending tool. These are really fun tools. So I used these for the first time at Creativation and I'd heard a lot of hype about them and they just work wonderfully. So I went ahead and added some red along the edges of the carton. And then I'm using this tiny little brush. This kind of reminds me of like a dental cleaning brush, but I'm adding some extra detail to the fries and you can see it just gives them a little bit more dimension. And to hold those in place, I'm just using another piece of my Heffy memo tape and I'm working on a laminated piece of cardstock. That's kind of my preferred surface for anything messy like this because I can just go ahead and clean it up with a baby wipe, and if I accidentally stain it, it's really easy to replace because I just grab a new piece of cardstock and laminate it. Okay, so while I was explaining that, I went ahead and grabbed the fry container and I added a little bit of adhesive onto the back so I could tuck all of these fries inside and kind of just arrange them how I wanted them to be. Now, I'm not too sure if I've used this die set correctly, so I tucked them inside of this little flap here, but I think it actually works really well if you put everything behind the entire fry container, and then the little smile piece that you have there, you can die cut in another colour and have a little stripe along your container. Either which way, I think it works. So then to give everything a little bit more permanent of a hold and to make sure that all of those layers are stuck down, I'm just using some of my multi-medium in a matte finish with a fine tip applicator, and then I'll use an acrylic block to help that all kind of stay in place while it dries. So next I'll move on to working on the card base, and I wanted there to be a little bit of extra interest, and this background die from Avery Elle is just perfect. There are a couple of sentiments that came with this die in the center as well, but I went ahead and trimmed those out and I'm just using this frame piece, and it die cuts this beautiful frame and then leaves this pattern around the outside edge, and I just think it adds a really nice kind of tone on this white card base. Here I have my mini scoreboard, and I'll go ahead and use the bone folder that's provided. Usually I do use my Simon Says Stamp Teflon bone folder, but it was still actually packed away with some of my crafting supplies, so I reached for the bone folder that was included with this mini scoreboard, and because I'm working on a light coloured cardstock, it does work just fine. The Teflon is preferable in my opinion, and you can certainly notice a difference on a darker colour cardstock. It doesn't leave behind that kind of shine when you work with the Teflon bone folder, but this one works just fine, and that mini scoreboard is really handy to reach for and to keep right near my desk. So I added some more of the multi-medium and the matte finish onto the back of this piece, and then I'll again just set that off to one side to dry, and then I'll be able to come in and add the fries. So to raise this fry container up off the back of my card, I'm going to use my all-time favourite glue dots. These are the Scrapbook glue dots? Foam squares. These are my favourite ones, and they're from Scrapbook Adhesive. And I'm actually just using up a whole bunch of the teeny tiny ones. So I went ahead and covered the background. They do come in a larger size, which of course would be a little bit quicker and you wouldn't use so many of them. But I had tons of these tiny ones. So I just filled up the background with those, and they were the perfect size to fit behind some of these skinny little fries. So once I was happy I had everything pressed down, I carefully peeled away the washi tape. I did realise that one of those fries was a little bit loose. Don't worry, I glued that down when I was finished. And then here I have my sentiment and my Heffy Doodle strips of ease. So this sentiment cracks me up. I only have fries for you. I went ahead and ran that through my die cut machine with my Heffy Doodle strips of ease and just cut that down to be the size that I wanted, and it has that fun stitching detail. I did actually print this sentiment because I didn't have a stamp that had this particular sentiment and I knew it was what I wanted to use, and I could have gone ahead and stamped it out with alphabet stickers, but I felt it was just a little bit easier and quicker to print this. I don't usually do that for my cards. I do prefer to have something stamped or die cut, but every now and again when there's something very specific that I want, I'll go ahead and do that. So this is the best part. This is the googly eyes. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen on my stories that I dropped the entire tub of these googly eyes, and I actually have 3 tubs stacked on top of each other with small, medium and large Google eyes, and they all went on the floor and mixed together, and I had to sit and separate them all out, but I think it was worth it because this card turned out really cute. So for my final detail, I wanted to add some salt onto these fries. I personally love really, really salty fries. If I'm going to get a takeaway or if I'm going to get some fast food, you've already made the decision that you're having bad food. You might as well have a whole bunch of salt on there as well. I know it's not good for you, but you're already there once you end up deciding that you're having fast food. So I added some salt using a white gel pen, and that is this card finished. So thank you for sticking with me to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then do let me know by hitting the like button and leaving me a comment in the comment section below. On screen right now, there's a couple more videos that I think you might enjoy. If you haven't already seen them, go ahead and click on the thumbnails, and that will take you straight through to the videos. But that is all from me today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.